Oh boy, I'm gonna slightly anger my comments section a little bit, but I don't think this looks that bad. Sure, yeah, the Monster Hunter movie doesn't really look that. Yeah, the Monster Hunter doesn't look too well and everything. But I'm gonna see this and go, I hope it's decent. Decent. I don't think it'll look too bad. I get that the one really likes this more modern setting in a Monster Hunter movie. But the movie doesn't really. I do feel like I hope they have at least some of the monster characters and whatnot. And then again, when people say, "Oh my god, it's good, it ruined the monster," remember when me? Remember when? Then again, it's created by that same director that did the Resident Evil films, live action films, and everything else. But I would say, and also being with his wife again, I would say something along the lines of, I do hope it's decent, even though I'm going to be bet it's going to be bad, but I do hope it's decent, as I don't think it looks that bad. Just modern setting doesn't really work with
What the hell is that?
aside from the Elvis' disappearance,
What the
that's
hell
it.
is...
You know what? I do hope. Oh, this is a decent film. Then again, people say, "Oh my god, they ruined something." And yeah, the adaptations hasn't been the greatest. Yeah, it hasn't been the greatest. Yeah, probably just. And I admit, a Monster Hunter film where modern soldiers are used is. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see how movies like Dragon Ball Evolution doesn't do well. I do hope it's decent. Looks doesn't look too bad, but yeah, modern day plus this doesn't really work too well. And like to anyone saying that, oh my god, it's going to ruin Monster Hunter. Yeah, it's going to ruin Monster Hunter, you say. No, yeah, I'm gonna remind you the Resident Evil films. Yeah, those live action films I mentioned earlier. Yeah, remember those? Yeah, that looked at. Yeah, look at these films and yeah, look at all these live action films. Yeah, it doesn't damper too much of the reputation. Yeah, it doesn't damper too much reputation, and people still like the Resident Evil franchise in the video games. Just the movies are just not too great. And hell, even they're getting even Resident Evil's getting their own Netflix show sooner or later. Then again, we are getting a Resident. And with games like this and Resident Evil. Yeah, looking back at the Resident Evil franchise and with their 8 installment and pretty much a lot of series of spin-offs and everything else, yeah, it ruined the franchise, you say. Yeah, ruins the. Yeah, apologize, Anderson, ruined the Resident Evil franchise. Okay, yeah, maybe with a bad reputation for the movie side, but TV should. But the video games and everything just survives pretty much. Just yeah, just the franchise has still survived to this day. And let me remind you, 2 and 7 so far are made lots of money. May I remind you of RE2 sales, by the way, of Resident Evil 7 sales, for example? Uh, it sold 7.9 million copies. 2's remake, its sales was like 5 million. But the total sales of the entire franchise is like 94 million units. And I would say, really, this is all, by the way, these are all post the movie, live action movies. So, yeah, not. So, yeah, I'm gonna say I do hope it's decent, but yeah, at the same time, this is going to be a crapshoot of a movie. And yeah, look at the plot summary, generic plot, but I do hope that then again, people just don't see it as much as a franchise ruiners. Maybe it dampers a reputation, but everyone will eventually just go back to the franchise. But everyone's just gonna be going to go look past it, just burn the franchise like heresy, and just pretend that movie doesn't exist. And possibly we'll do get better adaptations, like better anime movies. And I do feel like Capcom really needs to learn their lesson from really need to learn the lesson of stop hiring the same actor half the time. She might be a good actor, but I feel Paul Anderson really needs to learn better directing. I say better directing. As this guy isn't really good with movies, especially the Resident Evil movies. I feel like he really needs to work on better things or try to be a better original guy. I feel like most of his work was more because of the Resident Evil films are basically his infamy work. He never made a single good movie, maybe I would say. Okay, I guess it makes it decencies, but I don't think this guy ever made any good movies in my opinion. And I do wish this guy will at least make some good movies for once and stop trying to use any different IPs. I do feel like if Capcom was to ever make another movie that is this after that, I do feel like they should kick out Paul Anderson to do any future Capcom movies. I do hope. But yeah, overall, I do feel like I hope it's decent, and maybe I don't feel like I'm worried for. What? But I'm not too worried. I don't feel like it's worrying to me, as considering, and like I said, to recap, I want you to look at the Resident. But even after all the live action movies get a bit damper in the reputation, supposed to like ruin the franchise. Look at the franchise still now. Look at the franchise still now, having like 7 games, having 7 games, including an upcoming 8 game, and and 3 remakes so far. And in total, it made like 94 million units. And yet, people are just still really loving Resident Evil. Oh, oh. So, and even there's going to be a new Netflix Infinite Darkness series, which I do recommend checking out. Oh, if you have the time. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm gonna assume this is just going to just maybe damper a little bit, but I wouldn't say it will full blown ruin the Monster Hunter franchise. Nice. So yeah, like I said, remember, Resident Evil had a few live action movies, but still come out okay, and for the most part unscathed. As for potentially this movie, As for this movie, I would say just maybe a little bit, maybe just temper it a little bit, but I wouldn't see it be a full, going to completely ruin the franchise. It's, it's like everyone's gonna say, and I would feel like people are just gonna more likely just go play the more new Monster Hunter game, play the more recent Monster Hunter game. And I feel like people are just gonna probably play the new Monster Hunter game, possibly play New Worlds, and maybe the inevitable coming out of the new Rise game. Still, I feel like Rise is still at best, even though I felt Rise is still jumping on the Japanese future Japan trend. These future Japanese trend. this trend of having the game be having Japanese aesthetics instead of trying to go with something original. Okay,
Yes,
I'm looking forward to Worlds, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like the Japanese team does feel a little off. Yes, I would say, like I said, mm. So yeah, in short, I think the trailer is fine. I do hope the movie is a bit decent, maybe just a fun little just action movie, even if it doesn't follow the source material, like how. But I do hope it's decent. And secondly, I would think this movie would not ruin the entire Monster Hunter franchise. Like I remind you all look at Resident Evil for example. I will, yay, literally. Despite those movies existing, they still just people just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna ignore that. I'm just gonna look at the video game and just look at the video games and go, yes, I love the video games. Just play the video games and also even look at the other spin-off series, including the animated movies. So yeah, I don't think this is going to ruin Monster Hunter. So yeah, at best it's just gonna be just maybe temper a little bit of the reputation, but not really that much. And it's just going to just. And I do maybe hope we get an animated film as well. Maybe also get the same treatment, an animated film as well, and everything. So yeah, I don't think this film is just going to completely ruin Monster Hunter like everyone s- says. And yeah, I do hope that more move. And I do hope I feel though I think. Then again, everyone looks at the Sonic Hedgehog movie, but at least it follows sort of most of the source material. At least most of it, at least. So, like I said, I do hope this movie doesn't be decent, and I don't think it will just ruin the Monster Hunter franchise. So yeah,